Hello, you're listening to Count Richard Von Coudenhove kalergi. Today is Friday the 2nd of November, and here's a couple of comments since my last video. This week is the 29th anniversary of the Wall Street crash of the 29th of October 1929. I'm reminded of a report by an American journalist in 1927 who observed that a change has come over our democracy. It is called consumptionism. The American citizen's first importance to his country is now no longer that of citizen, but that of consumer. Man's desires must overshadow his needs sometimes. I wonder, is the purpose of the migration crisis to facilitate the movement of people from an area of the world where they cannot consume into an area of the world where they can, and to hell with the social consequences, all at the taxpayer's expense. The United Nations was formed on the 24th of October 1945 with an initial 51 members, with a primary goal to practice tolerance and live together in peace with one another as good neighbours, and to unite our strengths to maintain international peace and security. It is my opinion that the UN has now become a self-serving organisation, infiltrated by vested interest groups and NGOs. Next month, Ireland is going to sign two documents, one called the Marrakesh Political Declaration, which is an agreement between Europe and 58 countries. The second is the Global Compact on Migration, which is a non-binding agreement between 193 countries regarding migration to promote the safe and organised movement of migrants. I noticed that in the 34-page document that the word asylum seeker isn't mentioned once, and most worryingly, Objective 17 out of 23 is to eliminate all forms of discrimination and promote evidence-based public discourse to shape perceptions of migration. So basically the purpose of this document is to introduce en masse ideologies and cultures that are far different to those of host countries in Europe and Western world. What could possibly go wrong? As of today, the USA, Croatia, Austria, Australia and Hungary have refused to sign it. Is it any wonder that RTE is so hostile to Donald Trump regarding the Soros and Democrat-sponsored caravan? Gullible morons believing that diversity and open borders are our strength are completely devoid of the tribal nature of humanity, leading to groupings of people based on commonalities. A report from the Austrian Academic of Science looked at European population trends for between 1990 and 2017 and found that almost all population growth in Western Europe was driven by migration. In Austria, the cost of migrants this year is expected to exceed 1.8 billion, which has caused major controversy considering that the cost of the entire defence budget for Austrian armed forces is 1.9 billion. In Sweden, in 1 year, it spent 14 times more on asylum seekers than it did on defence. What could possibly go wrong? After another dismal performance by the CDU, Angela Merkel has announced that she is stepping down as leader of her party in December. After 13 years as Chancellor, her legacy is a fragmented Europe. After her announcing in 2015 that all migrants were welcome and the invasion of Europe began, well, Angela, Germany now has 42% of children under the age of 6 have a migrant background. And a couple of cases during the week that caught my eye. On Monday, the ADF organised a protest march in Freiburg over the gang raping of an 18-year-old girl by up to 15 men over a 4-hour period in a wooded area beside a nightclub which she had been in. 8 Syrians have so far been arrested, all who have previous criminal convictions. The sad thing was that a counter demonstration organised for the same Monday had twice the numbers attended. I know which march I would have been. And staying in Germany, German police have arrested a 28-year-old Eritrean asylum seeker after DNA evidence linked him to the rape of 3 women over a 2-year period. The investigation also took a rather unusual turn when his DNA was linked to farm animals. that saw sheep and goats being raped over the same 2-year period. On Tuesday in Malmo, a 10-year-old girl was raped and a 30-year-old man was arrested. No identity of the man has been given yet. So Merkel, that is your legacy. In domestic issues, I'm delighted to see Gemma Authority is now starting to do live broadcasts on YouTube, circumventing mainstream media in favour of using Twitter and YouTube to get her anti-corruption messages out, and has now done 2 broadcasts this week. I see Noreen O'Sullivan has got a job with the UN as appointed Assistant Secretary General for Safety and Security. On the day she was appointed, Garda whistleblower Maurice McCabe announced he was retiring from the force. The UN might need to keep an eye on their laptops and phones of her around. I noticed that the Journal had an article with a woman in direct provision centre in County Clare who said that she was refused food for a sick child overnight. The woman, who wanted to remain anonymous on the Journal, was quite happy to post this on Twitter. Second time in 2 months she has made the same complaint. Donna Voma, who was awarded Clare Woman of the Year, has been in direct provision for the last 4 years and is from Zimbabwe and has 3 children. The complaint resulted in that staff in the direct provision centre are to be retrained and will also ensure that tea, coffee and snacks will now be available on a 24-hour basis. This is on the day that was announced that 9,000 patients were forced to wait on trolleys this month, and on the day that over 5,000 people are still awaiting on illness benefits to be paid to them. The sense of entitlement seems never ending. I wonder who gets fed better, those in direct provision centres or those soldiers in army barracks who will be there to defend our country when the need be. Well, there are a couple of comments. My thoughts are my own. Thanks for listening, and I see you have a new subscribers this week, so thanks again. Bye bye.